Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV. I hope you guys are well wherever it is that you may be around the world. We're here to talk Lukaku, and I'm telling you now, this is going to be probably the last show ever that you're going to see me and probably Pies. Actually, I can't talk for Pies, but on this show, talking about Lukaku. Con was meant to join us. I know you're probably thinking, where's Con as well? I thought it was coming in. He will probably jump in eventually. Con's very bad when it comes to timing, so hopefully eventually he will join us as well. But guys, make sure that you smash the like button, subscribe if you're new to GNA TV as well. We got Lukaku to talk about. We got Todd Boehly and Thomas Tuchel to talk about. We've got a little bit of news on Kunde. We're also going to be talking about Dembele as well. So much to get into as well. But like I said, keep hitting them likes. And let's cue that intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV. I hope you guys are having a lovely day wherever it is that you may be across the world, because in our country at the moment, the UK, England, it is boiling. It is boiling. That's why I'm sitting in a vest right now. It is too hot. It is literally too hot to be wearing anything else. But I am joined, as always, by one of my bros, CFC Pies. Sorry, Pies. Pies, how you doing, bro? How are we feeling today?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Just looking forward to talking Chelsea again. Been on quite a few streams lately. We've got a few topics to talk about, and I think, one of them in being Lukaku is like we don't really want to talk too much more about this guy because I think everyone's just kind of relieved now he's gone, but also there's always going to be that anger there. I've said as well that I'm really looking forward to his first Inter Milan interview when he goes back. I really want to see if he says anything about Chelsea or if he keeps it respectful, because technically he's still on the contract for the club. But yeah, this one's going to be really, really funny to follow along with, I think.
You're right. You actually hit on the dot there. Like, what is he gonna say? Like, what is he gonna say? Like, he's definitely they're gonna ask him that question when he gets it. Like, why did you come back so early? Like, what was the problems and whatever? And the way the character he is and what we've seen in the last year of Romelu Lukaku, it would not surprise me if he brought out a big interview about everything that happened in the backs, like we didn't know about. And it'd probably be a case of like you find stuff out about Thomas Tuchel, maybe potential players, the board. Like, it would not shock me. I don't think this guy honestly cares. Like, we're going to get into how we feel more personally with Romelu Lukaku a bit later in the show. Guys, make sure you get yourselves involved in the chat as well. Let us know your feelings on him. But we're gonna start with him. We are definitely going to start with him. I'm going to quickly say hello to everyone in the chat. Big up to RD. Vinny, nice to see you, bro, as well. It's been a while. Nice to see you in the house. Shelly, nice to see you. Martin, nice to see you, bro. Top Bins, M3, Declared. Hi, Kim and Martin. Fator, what's up, players? No Lukaku in your, what's that, team of the something
It's about
season?
Lukaku's not got a tots, bro. Maybe he gets a flashback to when he was actually good, but yeah.
Undertaker CFC says big up Gem and Pies. Gem, Savic might be pushing for a move to Chelsea. I haven't heard anything of that. Pies, can you confirm? Is there anything more on Savic?
It's that I think maybe the Lazio ITK that's saying he's in contact with Chelsea and stuff, but
we'll see.
Want to watch.
Yep. We're in contact with everyone, man. We should be called Interest FC, whatever it is FC you want to add to it. Literally, that is what we are at the moment. No output from us. M3 says Kunde updates has been silent. We're going to talk a bit about Jules Kunde later, and we'll talk Jules Kunde, Dembele. We're going to start with Lukaku. We're also going to be talking about Thomas Tuchel and Todd Boehly and their new, let's say new role, not a new role for Thomas. Yeah, actually, their new roles. Their new roles is what I'm going to say. So we're going to get into all of that. Make sure that you guys are smashing the likes, those as always, please. Matthew, nice to see you. Fator Pat says apparently you don't follow back on his new Twitter account. I don't know what he's talking about.
What's your app, bro? Let me know. I didn't know.
Yeah, let him know in the chat. Gavman, big up to you. Devin, big up to you. Matty in the house. Comes to something when our best transfer business is getting rid of Lukaku, but it was an important one, Matty, and I think we'll probably start it off there, right? Because yesterday, Fabrizio Romano, Matt Laws, everyone pretty much came out with, when I find it, got quite a lot of tabs open at the moment, guys. the confirmation that Romelu Lukaku is leaving. Romelu Lukaku is leaving Chelsea Football Club. It was a matter of time in many ways, and he pretty much confirmed saying that Romelu Lukaku's return to Inter. Here we go, and confirmed, fully agreed, now signed, full agreement, and now signed on loan deal until June 2023, so only a year. €8 million loan fee plus add-ons. I am quite shocked that there was even add-ons involved in a loan. I don't know again how that one works out. Lukaku's salary would be around 8 million. No buyer option or obligation clause against that as well. Add-ons related to teams' performances as well is what we've got on there. I mean, Pies, when you saw this news yesterday, it's obviously just a matter of time, wasn't it, with Romelu Lukaku? But when you look at it from a Chelsea standpoint, how do you feel they've done with this? Do you think they've done the right thing, or do you think this is the only way that they could possibly get rid of him if Thomas Tuchel didn't want him?
I think from what we're hearing, Todd Boehly's done the right thing, and Thomas Tuchel. I think Matt Law, speaking of Matt Law, actually, he said on the London is Blue podcast that essentially Petr Cech and Marina were open to, or gave hints that they were open to Lukaku staying 1 year, but Todd decided to actually ask Tuchel and give him the chance to decide, which is obviously a massive change at this football club because, yeah, previous managers have got certain extent of power, but at the end of the day, Marina has always had the final say, the power. So, and obviously Roman Abramovich as well. So yeah, I think it's fantastic to get it sorted so early on in the window. And on the face of it, it makes sense to get rid of probably the biggest problem right now in the squad. We can't speculate too much about what's gone on behind the scenes, but I can't imagine he's been great in the dressing room. You know, there's been rumours that he's been talking to Inter Milan directors since Christmas, January time. So look, get this guy gone first. You don't have to worry about him not turning up to pre-season. You don't have to worry about him causing trouble. And then now we focus on incoming. So, look, yeah, it's great from Todd Boehly that he's actually negotiated this move and that he's working with Thomas Tuchel to complete other moves as well. This is exactly what needs to happen. And at the same time, I love Thomas Tuchel, but again, this has been a lot said about this. He's got no excuses next season. From what we know, he's getting, Todd is going to do as much as he can to try and get his targets. So every sale, every contract, every purchase is going to be supposedly decided by him. So look, this is a massive chance for Tuchel to shape the squad in the way he wants. And we will just have to see how it plays out.
100%. We are going to talk more about Todd Boehly and Thomas Tuchel a bit later on in their roles and etc. etc. I mean, Texas Blues is spot on. Pie as well said. I agree. How do I feel about it? I feel that we've made the right choice. At the end of the day, the fact that Thomas Tuchel had made it very clear himself that Romelu Lukaku isn't in his plans is big. And when you think about how our board reacts, I mean, thinking about the Roman era and Marina, when you think about what could have been if a manager found himself in that position and say that Marina and Roman disagreed with the fact of allowing him to go due to obviously how much we'd spent on him, 9 times out of 10, you probably would have seen that Thomas Tuchel would have been forced out the door. And that for me is, I know it's very early in the whole Todd Boehly everything, but that for me is one real key big thing already that we've just seen with Todd Boehly because, and we're going to get into one of the tweets later on, but one of the tweets obviously saying about Petr Cech and Marina were thinking about obviously keeping Lukaku on for another season. Of course they would. You've got to bear in mind, Marina must have done a lot of work just to try and get this deal done only a year ago. And all of a sudden he's now out the door and moving on. And Todd Boehly could have looked at it in the same manner, but has decided to look at it from what Thomas Tuchel feels is the he wants to do moving forward. And to be successful, you need to have the right profile players, the right players around that want to be here. And if he doesn't want to be here, then just let him go. And Todd Boehly backed that. He negotiated this as well, from what we understand. He negotiated him getting out. Obviously, Romelu Lukaku himself didn't want to be here. When you look at it on hindsight in terms of the loan fees for the year and that, it is very minimal for a player of Romelu Lukaku's stature. Don't get me wrong. We are taking a big L on this one. I think most Chelsea fans can accept that can accept taking that L, especially when a player doesn't want to be here and he's forced himself out the door and throwing his toys out the pram, which is what he's ever, for me, this is what he's done ever since he's been at the football club, to be honest. I mean, Pies, you was quite a sort of a big fan of him when he first, let's rewind quickly. When he first come through the door, obviously we didn't know he was going to do the interview and whatever else, but you were very confident of Romelu Lukaku, wasn't you? Sort of coming back and being the player that he was in Italy. In your mind, when did it change? When did you sort of look at him in a different way? Was it the interview, or was it just later on after his performances throughout the season?
Well, I think before the interview, I'm pretty sure he still went like 6 or 7 games without a goal, right? I remember
Mm,
his first ever game, and everyone was gassing him. I was gassing him, and then I remember when I was rewatching the highlights, and you remember all those entry passes, how we was using him like Giroud, and he was bullying everyone and stuff like that. And I
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
against better opposition, once teams figure that out, what they're going to do is they're just going to cover that passing lane to, so we can't really use him as a target man. They're going to put the DM in there essentially. But that game against Arsenal, literally all we had to do was pop it into him, and he was laying it off, and he was unstoppable. Toppled with the fact he was playing against Mari and someone else, I think. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think the fit was ever right. I think in his interview he said that Tuchel had decided to play a different module, which is like a system. So I don't know whether he got told when he was going to sign he would play with a 2 up front, because for me that's still where he's best. But I
Mm,
mean, even so, Jem, we tried that. We tried that with Werner. We tried that with Havertz. I know it was rare, but we still tried it. We tried him off the right hand side, cutting in,
mm,
shooting on his left foot. Running the channels. Yeah, 7 touches against Crystal Palace. I mean, for me, I just didn't think his head was really ever in it. The
mm,
first few games was good. It felt like a homecoming. The Aston Villa game, especially, the goal where he just took the ball and smashed it was amazing. But
mm.
you see, even a lot of his goals, bro, off transitions, off quick shots, like the Wolves' second goal. Was it the second goal where he just turned and shot? Like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
anything, any time we played a deep block, bro, he was not good. And we it's I always say it's kind of like not 50-50, but Tuchel, like for me, people say, oh, he should have changed the system, whatever, whatever. But a lot of other players then get affected by the system change or the philosophy change, because a lot of our players, in my opinion, suit possession-based football. We've got a lot of good players on the ball, but if we,
Mm,
started if we ditched that essentially, played 3-5-2 counter attack, Lukaku may score more, but I think more of our players would have looked worse. So it's like, which one would you have picked? I think Tuchel was trying to find the balance, and it just didn't
mm,
work out. So it's just one of those. But I thought he would be a guaranteed source of goals. I mean, you looked at last season, well, not last season, the season before last. We was getting the ball into the box. There was just no one there to finish. We was
yeah,
attacking quite
yeah.
well. But as soon as he came in, it was just like first off, they didn't know how to play with him. There was never any connection that was brought up. Only Kovacic really had a connection with him, and sometimes Ziyech.
Mm,
And the fluidity, the pressing suffered massively, of course. And we didn't get those chances in the box. And even when we did, like, I remember the likes of Real Madrid, bro, like a free header to get us back in the tie, and he missed it. Like Juventus away, when he had that shot on the turn, he missed it. Like he was just not even clinical for us. I don't like. There's so many like things you could have said what went wrong, but it's been a
What
nightmare, honestly. I think the
he
interview ended
yeah.
it personally. I know people were talking about road to redemption. I remember when I watched that interview and he was smiling. I was like, "There's no way he's done this off his own back." I reckon the club said to him like, "This would be a good idea." And Lukaku was probably like, "Yeah, I should probably do it after the reaction." But for me, when the interview happened, it was pretty much over. And this guy, by the way, if it's true that he was texting the Inter Milan director, if it was true that he was texting the Inter Milan coach, like it was supposedly, "Hey boss, I'd love to come back. Is there anything I can do?" Like he was doing this all while Chelsea are playing important matches. If this is true, so
Mm.
I have no sympathy for him. He can go and start pad against Sampdoria centre backs, and yeah, hopefully we get some good money for him.
I'm gonna put a very easy poll out. for people to answer, because I just want to make sure that this is how everyone feels at this current point at the moment. We've got over 160 people in, 10 minutes in. Big up to everyone. Thank you for all tuning in. Make sure you smash the like, subscribe if you're new to the channel as well, people. Check out Pies as well, Pies on his channel. Sorry, on his Twitter as well. Do that for him. Are you happy Lukaku left? Yeah, I would say, are you happy that Lukaku's left Chelsea? That's what I'm going to say. Yes or no? It's easy for you guys to answer there. I'm hoping that it's all yes, but you never know. You never know these days with Chelsea, the Chelsea fan base. For me, I think you hit the nail on the head, mate. I don't really remember anything. I was never his favourite fan, and I was never wanting. I didn't actually want him here originally in the first place. And forgetting everything from the personal element and what he'd done with the interview and whatever, but just from the profile of player he was, I know he scored a lot of goals, and we were crying out for a goal scorer. But I was always slightly reserved in the way of how he fit in this squad, how he fit in this team, and I never thought it'd be this bad. Don't get me wrong. I would have thought he'd have done at least 2 seasons before he left, but because of everything that happened within this season, it's just been an absolute roller coaster. He's really just let himself down, but obviously let us down. And he goes on. We're going to come out of this one, but I am happy. I know a lot of people thinking, yeah, Jem's happy. He's won. He's always said this. He didn't want him here. I am happy he's gone, but at the same time, I'm sad because we spent 100 million on this guy. Right. And I can't actually remember one really good goal where I thought, wow, that was good. And it's like, like a goal that was important. I can't remember even just doing that. That some people might say the CWC semi-final header, but I don't even think that was, to be honest, to a degree. And when you're hearing him coming out and supposedly saying, apparently, he was reduced to tears when his lawyer informed him that Chelsea and Inter Milan had struck an agreement over a loan move. Excuse me, there's only one set of fan base that should be upset with what Lukaku's done, and it shouldn't be him crying on his knees. The guy's been taking 300 plus K a week from us. Yeah, all right. He might not have had the game time, but he was given. I'd say he has been given a fair share of games, even when he shouldn't have been played. He had a number of times, multiple chances to show us that he wanted to be here and that he was really sorry. I remember even when he came out with the sorry interview after the apology interview after he'd done the original interview, and he was like, just looked smug. Like you can tell he didn't really give two damns. I remember some of my mates that went to the bridge and got down there at 9 a.m. to wait for the players to come out of the hotel, and all the players were signing signatures. Kaku's just ignoring them, walking past them. They're calling his name, and he's blanking them. Like he had no interest in them. Like he literally did not give two fucks about his club. And I'd go far as say this. Like I never hate someone. I think hate's a strong word to hate. Really hate someone. But when it comes to football, and if you was to ask me of a player that I really dislike, that I really do not like anymore, he's going top of the list because the whole package, everything that he's done up to this point is disgusting. The fact that he's reduced himself to tears, the fact that he's managed to get back to his beloved Inter Milan with Martinez up front. What about us fans and the Chelsea Football Club itself? We should be the ones in blimmin' tears, mate. We should be the one in tears. We're the ones that have just, we're the ones that have just committed 100 million to you, made you our highest paid guy at Chelsea, yeah, to get nothing out of it. We made nothing from it. And all you did was make things worse here. A commitment was put forward to Romelu Lukaku by Chelsea Football Club, by making him, the marquee signing of Chelsea, shall we say. It broke all records from our side of things. And he just literally just pooed on us, And if this is true, I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, Pies, but if this is true, this just sums him up, doesn't it? This really does. It makes himself look like he's the victim in all of this situation. Like he's the one that's been bad treated. He's the one that's been wrong done. Like it's disgusting, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we're the only ones that have been reduced to happiness that he's left. And the happiness we've been reduced to tears that we can finally move on, and we've finally got pressing football back, and that we don't have to watch some fucking donkey up front that's can't do anything pretty much. So Yeah, I mean, just the whole thing. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm past anger, to be honest. I'm kind of like, I just laugh at him now. Back to Inter Milan. Like, Manchester United and Chelsea, you flopped. Like, you will never be on the levels of Lewandowski, Kane, the Benzemas, because I know he scored 100 plus Premier League goals, but he's not a big game player, and he's flopped at the two big English clubs he's joined in the biggest and hardest league in the world. So his Champions League record ain't great. Like, what's he got going for him?
Well, this
He dragged,
apparently.
yeah, he dragged him to the Scudetto. I mean, well done, mate. Like, Zlatan Ibrahimovic is balling, and he's like 40 in this area. Giroud's balling,
It's
so like,
disgusting, isn't it?
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
to be honest, I just feel stupid that I fell for the hype. I remember when Chelsea played Spurs in the pre-season game, right? When before last season was starting, and it was the first time back at the Bridge in ages after the pandemic. And I remember someone was sitting behind me, and I overheard them talking about Lukaku, and me back then I was gassed. I was absolutely gassed for Lukaku. And I remember them behind me. One of them went, "Oh, did you hear the Lukaku news?" And then I don't know whether it was his son or his mate, someone younger went, "Oh yeah, but he's just going to come back and be a donkey like he was at Man United." And I nearly turned around and was like, "You just don't know ball or anything. Like, he's gonna smash you." And they were right, bro. They knew it. And credit to those people that didn't think he would work here, because you had to have some balls to say that, because on the face of it, he looked like the one. He really did. You couldn't get a more guaranteed goal scorer out there. Like, you really couldn't at that time. Like, Haaland, yes, but he didn't do it in the Premier League. Like, Lewandowski was never leaving, and he still doesn't want to come to the Premier League. So, like, I think we was all very happy with Lukaku. I think we ignored the price as well, because we was like, it don't matter if he scores lots of goals. Now it looks awful. Like, it looks beyond awful.
I mean, look at that, Pies. Honestly, look at his Inter Milan record, and we're going to come back to your super chat here, Arjan. Thank you again for that. Inter Milan record: 36 games to 26 at Chelsea. He scored 24 goals and only managed to get 8 for Chelsea. He had 11 assists over there. He managed to create 0 assists for Chelsea. 43 shots in total with 96 at Inter Milan. His shot conversion rate was 18% compared to his 25. And his minutes per goals was at 198.1 compared to his 120.3, which is quite substantially big when you read it like that. I mean, can we? I had this discussion with a couple of, I don't say Lukaku stands, people that still feel that it's not all Lukaku's fault, should we say? And do you know what? Before we get into that, Arjan, thank you for the donation. Thank you, brother. He says, when he stinks up the San Siro, the ultras will come after him. The rat has nowhere to hide now, since the
I,
ultras
I
haven't
was gonna
forgiven
say,
him. Yeah.
they actually, the Inter Milan ultras, I think they're called Curva Nord. I think they released a statement today, and they was like, "We're not gonna boo him when he comes back, but he's gonna have to prove in performances. Otherwise, pretty much you know what's gonna happen." So yeah, they're not gonna be immediately loving him anyway.
Yeah, thank you for the donation, bro, and great super chat there as well. We have got over 200 people here, though, 20 minutes in, but we've only got 58 likes, guys. So let's make sure that we all smash the like button if you can. Subscribe if you're new to GNA TV as well. Big up to every single one of you that's in the chat right now. I forgot what I was just saying before I went to this. It was actually quite important as well. I've gone brain dead. What was I saying before? What was I saying before I was about to read that super chat? Something important about this Lukaku guy. Oh, no. Can't remember. It will come back to me. It will come back to me in a minute. But when you look at these stats here, that's it. It's come back to me now. It's come back to me. There's a lot of there's some minor Chelsea fans out there that still feel that with Romelu Lukaku, it's not all his fault. And when they say that, they still feel that a certain element of blame needs to go on a certain Mr. Thomas Tuchel. Their argument, Pies, is that they feel that Thomas Tuchel, when you buy a player of Lukaku's pedigree, which is the word they use, pedigree, to get the best out of him, we should have been playing to his strengths more than asking him to fit into a system which obviously he doesn't suit. Now, people are saying because he's 29 years old and he's on the older side, it's going to be very hard to get someone at that age to adapt his game
I
if
just
he's not
don't.
that player. So
Yeah,
how do you feel about that comment?
I don't get that because one, he literally said, "I play in this system for Belgium, so I already know it and I'm already adapted to it." He said that,
Mm,
by the way. Two, it's like as I said earlier, I think by the way, you're not even about changing system. We'd have to change the whole way we play because clearly he can't play in possession-based football like the whole team plays right now. We'd have to concede possession and hit people on counter attacks. Which who would that suit? Werner and Lukaku. What's the one time we did that, by the way, this season? From what I remember, was against Man City at home. We was awful, bro. We had none of the ball and we played counter attack. We played 3-5-2 with Werner and Lukaku up top. We was terrible. The fans were disgruntled. So, like as I said earlier, Lukaku may have scored more goals if we changed our way completely of playing, but other players would have been affected. Other players that we like. So it's about the team. It's not about him. I don't. You know what I mean? Like, it's just. I don't know, bro. Lukaku suits old style football. Like, he'd be great for someone like Atletico Madrid or Burnley. You know what I mean? But he's not a I'm not even joking. Like he suits that type of football. He clearly cannot play in possession-based football, and even still, he told us he could do. By the way, he was like, "Oh, I've improved my hold-up play. I can do whatever the coach
yeah, I
wants,
know
the
he did.
tactical
Yeah.
demands." He said all this. He said all this bollocks. Tuchel has tried, bro. Tuchel did plenty to try and fit him in. He tried 100 different combinations. He changed the system. Yeah, he is a Conte player. But it's just I don't really
It's
know. Like,
it,
how can you
yeah.
put that argument up? Like, I don't understand. It affects the team way
It's
more,
because
and also
it's
the fans would get annoyed if we played different types of football. Like, I got annoyed with the possession-based football, bro. Imagine if we played counter-attack football, bro. Our fans would hate it. You want to go to the bridge. You want to watch games on TV where Chelsea are controlling the play. Yeah, they may not create bursts of chances. We've still got the ball. Your eyes are still focused on us. Okay, you don't want to be sitting on your seat for 90 minutes and then we get a counter-attack goal. Bro, no one's gonna like that. And Tuchel, that's not Tuchel's philosophy.
so he deceived us then, didn't he? Because what he said was that he can, like you said, adapt to different. And what CJ's saying here, boasted about he matured, his gameplay was better. That he over the 2 years in Italy, he had mastered everything that you need to do to be a top world class elite striker. These were the words of him. These are the words that come out of his mouth. But then when you say that to certain people that still feel that Thomas Tuchel should be part to blame for this, they don't understand it. They don't understand it. They just feel that we could have done more. But people forget, they have short-term memories because last season, Thomas Tuchel with Romelu Lukaku played a number of different styles or systems. He played the 3, but he played the 4. But when he played the 4, he played the 4-2-2-2. He played the 4-3-3. He played around with the formations. He tried to put players closer to him. He tried to play him as the focal point. He tried to play a Werner off him. He done different things to try and get the best out of this guy. And granted, we haven't got that player that looks up and plays the ball quick enough behind into the pockets of spaces. I get that. We don't. I agree. We don't. But this guy, if you do not get this guy involved in the game, he doesn't do it himself. And what top elite strikers do, and I'm talking about strikers at the top of their games, what they all have or possess is the ability to be able to make things happen for themselves. This guy can't make things happen for himself. He can't. If he doesn't see enough of the ball or get past the ball, he disappears. He hasn't got that mentality. He in many ways deceived us with his bullshit. And this is why I can't stand. I genuinely can't stand the guy, and I'm pretty much done. I'm happy that he's gone. I am very happy that he's now left this football club. Because I would have got Thomas Tuchel sacked. 100% would have got Thomas Tuchel sacked. I've said this for a very long time. If he doesn't go, we'll get Thomas Tuchel sacked. These stats are not good enough. Granted, none of our forward stats are great, and I get that. But this is why when we're going to get into it next, as we're coming to the half-hour stage of the show, this is why it's important that Thomas Tuchel now gets backed. This is why it's important that we see Thomas Tuchel get the players he wants. And one of the biggest statements Todd Boehly could have done as an owner right now is by getting rid of this guy. Because getting rid of this guy who is your highest paid player, the guy that smashed Chelsea's record, in terms of value and what we bought him over for him to go and wash his hands with him like that is very clever. Now, the fact that we didn't get the obligation to buy makes sense. The fact that he could potentially go out there and maybe play himself into some sort of value may work into Chelsea's hands at a later stage. You know, we may be able to sell him and claw back some of that unfortunate money that we spent here. But it just goes to show not everyone can be made for this league. This league is not easy. You have to be a player, a certain profile of player to be able to, and I'm talking about attackers specifically, to play in the Premier League. You know, and looking at the poll, are you happy with Lukaku's left? 91% said yes, with only 9% that said no on that one. So, yeah, guys, we can move forward. I am happy that he's left. And yeah, you know, it is what it is. I don't really know if you've got any last words on him, Pi. Is there anything else you want to finish off saying in regards to Romelu Lukaku other than good riddance?
Yep, and enjoy stat padding against Venezia centre backs and Sampdoria 40-year-olds.
Do
Goodbye.
you know what? Watch the Lukaku stands start bigging him up when he starts scoring
Oh
goals
yeah,
again.
I can't wait for that
Watch,
moment.
watch,
Those
watch.
brain dead guys that will go, oh look, why did we sell him? Look, oh look, maybe it's
You're an
Tuchel's
idiot,
fault. No, it's just the league, clearly, and the system. Like, shut up.
mate. That will happen. But do you know what the mad thing is, Pies? I actually want him to go and do that. People don't understand. I want him to go and score 20, 30 goals next season. It's good for Chelsea. We could sell him for more value. The better he does, the more he builds up his value again, right? So if he goes out in Italy and bangs in 20, 30 goals, and then Bayern Munich eventually decide to look at him and go, do you know what? We'll take him on now. Yeah, we'll pay 60, 70 mil. That's better than losing, you know, from our perspective, it's at least it's like a clawback. All right, we're still in a loss, but at least there's some imaginable clawback from doing so. So Romelu Lukaku, go to Inter Milan, go and smash it out there, go and score 30 goals and get hat tricks and do whatever you're going to do. Probably slag off this football club, which you're probably going to do as well once you get out there. He will be announced as an Inter Milan player by the looks of it, from what we've been told, next week, or at the end of next week, from what we understand. So let's wait and see for the official announcement on that as well. He will rip it up. He was down tooling at our club. What are you talking about, Declared? Don't think we need to waste any more energy on Lukaku. You're right, Gary. I think we're done. But I wanted to finish it with this because, you know, I did say that I was going to have that one more last sort of show with in regards to him. So let's move away from Romelu Lukaku and we'll move on to a little bit of like transfer news, shall we? We'll get into that. Make sure we get this over 100 likes, guys. There's over 200 of views here. Big up to every single one of you guys for being here as well. Make sure we subscribe to the channel and check out Pies as well. Oh, Pies, shall I say? I keep saying Pies, don't I? I can't help it, man. Still, these are get it right. Right, Pies. I want to talk about Dembele because it seems like more and more news is breaking that he wants to stay. And when we're reading, obviously Dembele wants to stay at Barcelona because Xavi loves him and he's happy in Spain. Why has it taken a message now for Xavi to apparently love him and want him to stay when supposedly it's looked like Dembele's wanted to leave for how many weeks now, from what we know, because we thought Barcelona were not going to issue him this contract. Are you still confident? I mean, this was from, I don't know who this is. Oh, Ben Ayad. Ben Ayad. He's the one that's commented on this one. So it's not just him, because a lot of the Barcelona journalists are doing it as well. They also seem to feel that there is something there still. Do you feel Chelsea are losing grip on this Dembele to Dembele to Chelsea scenario, or do you feel that we're still in control of this one, or do you think Dembele is just going to choose himself where he wants to be?
I think this situation is still very difficult. I think Ben Jacobs said that we'll find out more later on in the week. I don't know if Chelsea have made an official offer. They may have perhaps made a verbal offer, but official offer is very different. Again, we haven't heard anything from PSG for a while, and my gut feeling right now is that Chelsea will sign Sterling and a striker. I don't think we will sign Dembele. That's my gut
Wow.
feeling. That's my gut
Wow.
feeling. Because I think with Lukaku going and potentially Broja as well, I feel like it's either Sterling or Dembele. Now, if Ziyech can go, or if one of those wingers go with before his contract expires, I think we could make an offer for Dembele. But as it stands, I think it's going to be a striker and Sterling. You saw those Richarlison rumours come out as well. Like I don't know whether Chelsea are fully convinced on him. I know Tuchel is, and in a sense that Tuchel has the sort of power to decide. Surely it would be up to him, right? I'm not as strong as it on it as I was a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to be
Same.
honest with you. Like I don't know, it's kind of died down a little bit, and more rumours are coming out that he might stay. Whether or not Barca offer him a new contract. The thing is with Barca, they're very stingy. They'll do it on their terms. Dembele wants to do it on his terms. He's got a very awkward agent as well. So I don't know whether they can find a balance there or not. But we all know he wants to stay. So yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Goham's just making me laugh with his Lukaku comments, man. He always does this. It's unfair to say Lukaku was in tears when he heard he's going back to Inter. The motherfucker was sweating indoors. He's always sweating, isn't he? Like on the pitch, he's not even running. He's dripping the sweat. That's what he's trying to get at. But yeah, funny. I was very confident that it was going to happen because it felt from what we were hearing that it was going to be done. And I'm not hearing that as much anymore. What I am hearing more is he wants to stay. He wants to stay. Xavi loves him, wants him there. Barcelona themselves have not put anything forward for him yet. He's on holiday. Apparently, still going to make a decision when he comes back. But from what we understand, it sounds like he does want to stay at Barca. Barca are in a bit of a tricky position at the moment, Pies, because they've made a couple of signings already. They can't register him at the moment, as we already know. They still are supposedly linked to other individuals. Lewandowski, apparently they're trying to get Jules Koundé. Dembele's hanging around waiting for him to offer. Like I feel Barcelona themselves they're in a weird place at the moment. I don't really think anyone knows where they are, where they're at, or what they're doing, or etc. But they're really stalling a lot of things at the moment. I know a lot of people, and I'm talking about Chelsea fans, want to point fingers at our board and stuff. But we have to bring some context to this sometimes and realize that maybe it just isn't just us. Maybe it's the other side, which is the other clubs that we're waiting responses from. And maybe Chelsea are, maybe Thomas Tuchel wants him. Maybe Todd Boehly don't feel it's a good idea because of his history record or whatever else. But you said Pies, that you see Sterling coming, but you expect a striker.
Yeah.
I don't have that feeling. I still feel that we're
I
going to
think
get
we'll sell
Sterling.
Broja. I think we're going to sell Broja.
I
I think the talk of Tuchel wants to see him in pre-season. Okay, let's see what comes up when a bid gets thrown in our face. Say West Ham bid 30 million. I think he's gone, honestly. I think we'll sign a striker. I can't see us going into next season. I don't know. I don't know who it will be, but I can't see us going into next season with Havertz and Broja. I just don't. I know Sterling could play false nine and that, but I don't know. For me, that just doesn't seem right. I don't know.
See,
Yeah.
I disagree. I think I could see us going into next season with Havertz being the guy and Timo Werner playing second fiddle, as much as we don't want to hear it. Yeah. But I think we might be going down the route of looking for inside forwards that can score, but also create. And I'm talking about direct inside forwards. Like a Sterling is very versatile, has the movement, is very quick and direct in behind. Then Bele is another one of that sort of profile, quick in behind. I feel we're looking for not your typical number nines. I think we're looking for that player that can do a bit of everything, be direct, can dribble, also contribute to goals, but also create. And I don't think we have that at the moment. I don't think any of the players that we have up front have the ability to do all of them things. So it's a weird one because I think we're going to be busy, but hopefully before pre-season kicks in, which is not next week, it's the week after, isn't it? When they return for pre-season. So I would expect at least a couple signings through the door. Don't get me wrong. And, we're going to talk about Todd Boehly and Tuchel next. That's the next thing we're going to be getting into, in a bit. But it goes back to what I said about having to have a smart window, and I just feel a little bit lost with it all because we get linked with so many players and different different footballers. Like Nkunku's another one. Like is he available? Is he really truly available? Or is he just someone else that's just thrown in the hat of names? If you look at his value, would Chelsea do that? I don't know. Rafinha. Arsenal were very interested in Rafinha, but Chelsea supposedly have already inquired with Leeds about the signing of him as well. They want anything in the rounds of, is it about 45 to 50 plus million in it for Rafinha, if I'm right saying? So
It was
I don't know.
65 or
Is it 65? Sorry, yeah.
65
So
million. Fabrizio said, yeah, today.
65 million for Rafinha is ridiculous. Like, there's so many players out there that are just well overpriced. Just too overpriced. The Dembele one just makes sense from the standpoint of that he's free, he's young, he has all the ability in the world. All right, his wage might be an issue, but you can negotiate that, I think, to a degree. I don't know. I just find this Dembele thing's gone a little bit weird. And I wanted him. He's out of all of them. If I had to choose between Sterling and Dembele, I would have chose Dembele. I don't know about you, but I would have chose Dembele between the two. Um,
It's a
I don't know.
tough one, that.
It is, isn't it? Ideally we need both, don't we? When you think
We
about it.
do need both. I've always
Yeah.
said if Sterling comes in, I think he only really moves the needle if we get a creator. So I think we have to get Dembele or Rafinha. I think those two options. I mean, what's interesting is that Fabrizio also said that Boehly explored Rafinha, obviously, and you wouldn't do that unless you were planning on signing a winger, would you? Like, I don't know whether another winger, because Sterling looks like he might come, but he plays on the left, so I don't
Why
know.
would we get
There's
rid of
probably a lot going on behind the scenes, to be fair.
why would we get rid of Ziyech as well?
Huh?
Why would we get rid of Ziyech as well if we're not getting another winger? That's my other
Well,
thing.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
players are not happy with minutes, though, are they? So you can't really do much sometimes.
I just feel we're going to be very busy. The centre back area should be our priority still. We should be getting that out of the way quickly. Whether or not we've done that or we're at a point where we know who our defenders are, I don't know. But the forward line is becoming as much as an issue because we're not sure who's staying, and we know Lukaku's gone. That's all right, fair enough. Now we need to replace him, and that looks like it's going to be Sterling. That looks like that's going to happen. But Ziyech goes. Pulisic's up in the air still. Werner looks like he may stay, but you could still sell him for value, dependent on the player that you want. If it's a heavy price for a certain individual, maybe you could use him. There's just so much that still needs to go on, and I just don't know whether we're going to actually. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm a little bit nervous with how we're going to do this, especially with Todd Boehly and Thomas Tuchel being at the helm. I've got all the confidence in both of them to try and get it done. It's just who are they going for? I just want I want the certainty of knowing who we want, but we just never get that in these windows. And then Bele one's going to be interesting because if Barca turn around and say, "Look, it's done. We're not going to be offering you anything," even if Xavi loves him, because we're bringing in Lewandowski, because we, whatever, and supposedly they had talks with Rafinha. They were in the lead for Rafinha. You know what I mean? So they wouldn't have got Rafinha in to then have Dembele as well anyway. So the fact that that's gone a little bit quiet, I don't know. There's a lot that we do not understand right now, guys. But what I would say is I'm pretty sure it will tidy itself up very soon in terms of Dembele. But at the moment, it's not looking too promising. It definitely isn't looking too promising with him. Guys, make sure you smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new to GNA TV. Over 270 of you guys here right now. Big up to every single one of you guys. Should be over 100 likes by now as well. Got 92 likes. Coming another 8 likes, people. Let's do that. Please subscribe as well. Check out Pies on his Twitter as well if you haven't already. It's in the is there in his name and his bio there. So check him out as well. We did do a poll on will Chelsea get Dembele. 56% of people have said no, with 44% saying yes. So a lot of more people are feeling maybe the way we are. Some are still feeling more optimistic about him coming as well. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Go AM, what are you saying? I just see your comment. Where is it? Where'd you go? thoughts on the bargain bin Diego Costa coming to Charleston? Good. I mean, we could have a quick one on that because we haven't had that on this channel. I'll start with Pies. Richarlison to Chelsea for 50 million. How are you feeling?
Not for 50 million. Maybe 30 million, but we'd have to include a player. And even then, I'm just like a bit like I'm a bit. He's a bit average, isn't he? Like I don't know, like I don't really know what to say because I think he's an all right finisher. I don't think he's an amazing finisher. I know why Tuchel would want him is because of his pressing. In that sense, if he played up front on his own, like he can, he can handle himself. He puts himself about. But let's be clear, Tuchel wants him because of that running and the constant pressing and his movement. He's decent in the air. You know why Tuchel wants him. And in a sense, our system, he'd probably be quite underrated, to be fair. But at the same time, like Richard, like I don't know, he just doesn't. It's like that FT saying, right? He doesn't move me, he doesn't get me off my seat. Like I don't know, he's just a bit average. Like I wouldn't mind it, but I wouldn't be gassed. I'd just be like, oh yeah, cool. See how he does. Like for me, it's more of a squad option. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like what Ziyech is now. Like he's okay, but he's not amazing. I do think he gets more hate than
Mm.
perhaps they deserve. Perhaps he's a bit underrated, but at the same time, like I don't really think he's great on the ball. He's not good. His passing's awful as well. By the way, he's got like 60% pass completion this season. It's awful. Like I don't know. Like he's just a bit of
He's just a
a
meh
shit
player,
house,
isn't
isn't
he?
he? Yeah, he's
It's
just
what
like he just doesn't like. Yeah, I don't know.
It's what Con
Yeah.
said yesterday, and I don't think Con's. I don't know what's happened to Con. He must still be sleeping or something. I know. I did speak to him. He said he was coming on, but this is Con for you guys. He said if you ordered Diego Costa and Wish, you'd get Richarlison. That is literally it. Do you know what I mean? Like he isn't a Diego Costa. He has that sort of go get hard energy, like hard player, works hard, like you said. Could understand why Tuchel may want him. I just don't know whether he's quality enough to be in a team like Chelsea. Like I don't get if he's at that level. Can he play in Champions League football? Would he excel playing in a better team?
The
There's a lot of
fans
things
would
I'm just
love
not
him.
sure on.
I know
Fans would love him.
the fans would love him
Yeah,
because it'd just be like another Costa, and if he's on your team, you'd love him. But if he plays against you, I cannot stand him, mate. I cannot stand him when he plays against Chelsea. Like honestly, he dives around, he squares
I
up
know.
to players. Like the fans would absolutely love that. But at the same time, he's not on the level of Diego Costa, so I don't get those comparisons. But the
He's
fans
not.
would love him.
It's a fine having that attitude and whatever, and I get that. We lack that a little bit, to be honest. But we need goals. We need creativity. Like, is he a clinical goal scorer? I don't think so. I don't think
Not
he's the type.
not really. I mean, he's got good finishing, but sometimes like even for Brazil, I saw one the other week where he went through on goal and he smashed it straight at the keeper, and it was lucky the keeper didn't hold it and he got a tap in from it. It's just like that combined with Chelsea's luck, the curse. Like you just know he'd be bad. I don't know. I have such sort of anxiety towards anyone we signed though. Honestly, I just
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I was going to actually do a part, but I can't be asked, guys. We've got to move on. We've got a couple of things to still go through as well. A lot of people feel that Matty's saying he's a bench player for Spurs at best. So that's how much he thinks of him. Brazilian Batshuayi is what Hassan's saying as well. Richarlison has got double-digit goals consistently with a weaker team, though. That's what Matthew's saying. So he must be a fan of Richarlison. Fair enough. I think we should clear with him. You have to play as left wing, nothing less, is what Ibrahim's saying. All right, let's move on, guys, because we have got to kick on. There is some little bit of breaking from Simon Phillips. I say breaking. But we're going to move on to the defenders quickly, funny enough, so it falls perfectly in time. So Simon Phillips has come out of an exclusive saying that Will Fawkes, who is right here at Talk Chelsea, has said that along with Koundé, Chelsea are determined to make a player with a Premier League experience their second defensive signing. The pictures there show a Fofana, an Ake, Kilman, and who's the other guy? I don't know who that is.
Adam Webster.
Adam Webster. There you go. All right,
Yeah.
Adam Webster. Do you feel, Pies, from what Simon Phillips is saying there, do you feel that there may be some sort of truth out of that? And why would you feel that we would look at that? Why do you feel maybe potentially we would look at that? What is the sense of this?
I think you see with Sterling, Richarlison already, Premier League experience. It looks like we're trying to buy for more in the league, which again I think less adaptation time. Um, yeah, I guess Tuchel wants to hit the ground running with someone that he can trust alongside Kunde, which is maybe more of the sort of young project. I know Kunde's got experience, but I mean, even still, like left centre back is such an awkward position, which is why I didn't. I was gutted that Rudiger left. I mean, Nathan Ake for me, I think he's a good player, but again, he's a bit like Richarlison. It's like I know you disagree, but I think he's good. Um, he's a bit like Richarlison though for me. I don't get too excited about that. Adam Webster, good on the ball. Not watched too much of Brighton. Max Kilman again, he's quite young. Fofana young, he's going to cost like 70 million. So I don't know who we could actually sign for left centre back. The only other one I was thinking of was what's his name? Salisu from Southampton. He's a bit like Rudiger in terms of stylistic wise, very aggressive,
Yeah.
young. But a lot of them are young, bro. So even if you buy in the Premier League, like who can you? There's still going to be an element of risk to that. And for me, that's why I wanted Koulibaly so bad. Was because he plays in left centre back. He's played in back threes and fours, and he's experienced. I feel like we
Mm.
need an experienced defender to replace Rudiger. I know we've got Silva, but it's not enough. Especially if Aspi leaves, bro. Like, bro, it's going to be such a different squad next year. It's not. It's not going to feel like Chelsea, bro. Honestly, it's going to be so weird. So weird.
I'm a little bit worried when I read stuff like this because you already know. Look, I'm looking at. I don't know. I haven't watched Adam Webster. I've watched Kilman before. I actually think he's okay. Again, I'm not sure if he's the level that he needs to be, which is to play for Chelsea. I'm not too sure. Nathan Ake, why? We let him go for a reason. Like, he's second fiddle to Man City. All right, he may be very good on the ball moving out of it, but aerially, he's not going to be good. He hasn't really got that much experience, I don't feel, to be honest. And Fofana, who I actually think is quite decent, is going to be expensive and potentially injury prone because of the serious injury that he's had. So I don't get why.
Is he not a
If you've
right
got
centre back as well?
This is
Fofana,
the
I'm pretty
thing,
sure he
yeah.
is.
Like
Like,
you're bringing him in to do what with him? Like you got Thiago Silva there. Is he cover for Thiago Silva? Who plays left centre back then? So you telling me we're finding cover for Silva if we're sticking to a three and then maybe buying another? I don't see that. I don't mean
it's not. It's
Fofana
not,
don't work for me.
bro.
Fofana
There's
don't work for
the
me.
only top level left centre back in the Prem there is, off the top of my head, is Laporte. And if we're signing Sterling, we're not signing Laporte as well. Like he would be, it's one or the other. If you want someone from City that's, very one of their best players, you ain't signing both. So
But Gary, my question to you is: where is Salah and De Bruyne now at Liverpool and Man City? Like they're at their peak of their levels, right? Ake is not that. He hasn't left Chelsea and become a De Bruyne and Salah story. Let's be serious. He's sitting second fiddle for Man City. Plays when Zinchenko doesn't play off the left sometimes. Like he doesn't like. You got to bear in mind, guys. We had Antonio Rudiger in that position. Why are we now looking at players that are nowhere near that level?
the thing is, though, the only credit I would give to Tuchel if he does sign someone like Ake is like, what's to say he can't take him up another 2 levels? Like, you know what I mean? Like, look at what he did with Rudiger, bro. Rudiger was the most hated defender in this fan base. Everyone hated the guy, and now everyone loved him. Like, in a sense, he's very if for the back three, he's very very suited because he's so good on the ball. But is he as good as defender as Rudiger? No, probably not. But then at the same time, like, who's to say Tuchel can't? Like, Tuchel's done wonders with this defense. So I don't know. Like, I'm on edge with it, honestly. If one of those happens, like, if an Ake or a Webster happens, like, I don't know.
It's true. We're going to a conference league, go am. That's go AM. That's where we're going, mate. We're not going to we ain't going to Europa, mate. With Ake Richarlison as our signings, blimmin' hell. Is Stones available? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not a massive fan of him, to be honest. I don't know if people. I don't know if you are, players. I'm not a big fan of Stones at Man City, but yeah, it's a weird one because they're talking about the potentials of Chelsea wanting that Premier League experience, but then there's the opportunity to get this guy, and this doesn't seem to be going away too much. Chelsea are currently in a pole position to sign De Ligt if he decides against signing a new contract at Juventus. Now, he hasn't done that yet. He's probably going to listen to clubs across Europe and what they can offer. If you have the opportunity to buy a player, all right, granted, he's not experienced in terms of Premier League, but if you've got the chance to buy a young top player that's played in Champions League and played against the biggest teams across the world, currently plays for the Holland. He plays for Holland as well, doesn't he? Next to Van Dijk and whatever. So why would you not go for this guy, Pies? Like, why would you not
I'd
logically
love,
go for this
yeah,
guy?
I'd
Like,
love De Ligt. I think, especially when we eventually transition into the four, I think he's perfect for that. He's a young leader as well, bro. Like, I think he's like
but he
22
can
or
play a free,
23.
can't
Like,
he?
yeah, he can
He
play
can,
free, but the
not
problem is
worry.
he's not really a left centre back. He's more of a middle centre back. So maybe
Mm.
that's why they'll go off him. But I still think De Ligt happens to Chelsea one day. I think maybe he could be Silva's eventual replacement. I think that's one that will happen one day. I think we always get links to him.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I hope it happens. I'd like to have get. I mean, Jules Koundé is a certainty. It has to happen for me. I'll be shocked if we don't get that done. But if we can get him and De Ligt in, I will be happy because they're two quality defenders next to Thiago Silva, along with Chalobah. Malang Sarr, God knows, will probably end up being backup because of whatever. Maybe Levi Colwell will get an opportunity. Who knows? We have to see what happens. Just quickly, before we go to the next thing, something popped up just now that someone sent across over to me. Thank you, DJ Sav. Chelsea FC News reports that Thomas Tuchel's already spoken to Rafinha. Hashtag Chelsea FC hold transfer advantage. And that's obviously written by Football London. But they seem to feel that Thomas Tuchel's already had conversations. We have been told that Rafinha has already supposedly said himself that if he doesn't go Barcelona, Chelsea would be his second choice. And then Arsenal, who are currently third.
That's funny, by the way. That was brilliant. When that came out last night, mate, that
Yeah.
was absolutely brilliant. All the Arsenal fans in the replies were getting gassed, and then that screenshot came out, and they were like, "Ah, we don't want this fucking guy if he goes to Chelsea, if he wants Chelsea and stuff like that." So that's brilliant. I saw that.
If we don't get Dembele, I think we have to get this guy, but we have to get him for the right price. Premier League proven as well, very young. I think Thomas Tuchel can increase his levels. Quality on it, quality left foot, can dribble, can get round players. I like Rafinha. I've always liked Rafinha. I think he's quite a good player. I would like him at Chelsea, but we'll have to see. You have to see if Dembele talks are dying, then Chelsea are going to have to look at their second option, and maybe Rafinha is that second option for us. So we'll have to wait and see on that one, guys. Still over 250 of you guys here. Rafinha, Madinasna, Farteta getting humbled again. Yeah, literally. RIP Arsenal is what we've got here. Get Gary Cahill back. I don't know about that one, Matty. I don't know about that one, mate. I don't think he even plays football anymore. I want to go on quickly to Jules Koundé because Matt Law came out today at the London is Blue podcast and said Chelsea were aware of Koundé's injury and there are no concerns from Chelsea's point of view. It's fairly minor and everything's been successful. I don't think anything changes Marina going. I still feel he'll end up at Chelsea. Pies, we're going to talk about Todd Boehly and Thomas Tuchel into depth next, actually, is the next thing we're going to talk about. But in terms of Jules Koundé, Marina disappearing, a lot of people thought that the negotiations that she'd maybe put in place with Jules Koundé at the point had maybe fallen through now because now Todd Boehly's starting it's fresh negotiations, etc., etc. But Matt Loss seems to still think that it will get done. Some of the Barca journals think that Sevilla are entertaining Barcelona and the option because originally they wanted the full cash. They were saying originally, and we know Monchi's a headache to negotiate with at the moment as well. But with Jules Koundé, do you feel? And I keep asking, do you feel that it will get done eventually, or do we have to worry about Barcelona, or do you feel that Sevilla will look elsewhere because of Monchi? Should we say?
I just think it's how much Kunde is willing to push. I know he pushed last summer, but like, say Chelsea just cannot find a middle ground in terms of fee, like, and they say to him, like, literally go to Monchi and go, let me go now. Then I think Sevilla will accept less. But I think what I can't remember who reported it, but they were supposedly they just keep pointing to the release clause, and Chelsea obviously aren't going to pay that. So like
That's something else.
it's
Yeah.
just like Sevilla are all that sort of club where Monchi's kind of like the male version of Marina. It's his terms or no terms. Like
Mm.
he's not easy to get round. It's kind of like ADL as well, like De Laurentiis of Napoli, if no one knows. But mate, it's just so difficult to get a deal done. This was the same last summer. Simon Johnson, Matt Law, all of them said, "Oh yeah, he'll end up with Chelsea. It will happen eventually." It didn't happen. So until I see proof that one, a formal bid actually has gone in, and two, like they are willing to, actually negotiate, then I don't see it happening. Honestly, until those signs happen, I don't see it happening. I don't see how you could think different either, because like they are being extremely stubborn. How much do Chelsea want this guy? That's the question. How much does Tuchel want him? Like I don't know, man. It's just dragging on, and the longer it goes on, the more I'm concerned. And it's gone so quiet. Like we're hearing attacking rumors before defensive rumors. So have we put defenders on the backbone and kind of have other ideas in terms of like who would get? I don't know. But with someone like Kunde, for me, you have to prioritize these negotiations because like, it just seems on the face of it like it's a 24/7 task with this Monchi guy. He's a nightmare. I know Nizar came out today and said that Marina has handed her contacts or offered her contacts to Todd Boehly and that she will stay in an advisory role for this window. Thought that was
Yeah.
quite interesting because that means at least that, Boehly's going to be able to sort of, you know, negotiate with his agent very easily still and, explain the situation. But as it stands, I honestly don't know. I really don't know. I'm not confident on this yet, to be honest.
So what Bobby says, so much propaganda around broadcast Barcelona, and you're right. I feel Jules Koundé will still get done. I do feel that we are being, from what Ben Jacobs said today on the Football Terrace. If you haven't heard it, go and check it out, guys, as well. Terry Fleur's Football Terrace. Ben Jacobs said that he's got an agreement with Chelsea on a 5-year deal already. That's agreed. What's holding him up or stalling him at the moment is there's a 10 million difference in what Chelsea have offered to what Sevilla want. And whether or not they will compromise with us and get it done, it is looking likely that we will meet halfway. Then we are still the favourites. Barcelona have shown some sort of interest, but they're not willing to pay the full release as well. So, it all still points that Chelsea will get Jules Koundé, but it's just, are we going to fall to what Monchi wants? And exactly what Pi says, he is stubborn, he's hard. I don't want to do any work with Sevilla anymore after this Koundé deal because it is dragged out so much after the last 2 years. It's over this one player, and this guy, poor guy, probably just wants to go. He's probably had enough. He just wants to get moved forward, and the only way you can move it forward, like Pies is saying, is if he formally just makes a kick up about it and just goes and says, "Look, come on, like you guys are taking the piss. You promised me that I could go. You're still not agreeing with the club that I want to go to. What's going on?" So, I know it's easy to point fingers at Chelsea and the board. I get that. I know it's the easy thing for us as fans to do that, but we sometimes have to think on the other side of things as well. Maybe we've done what we can. Maybe Sevilla are just making this very hard. So we have to see what happens moving forward with Jules Koundé. But again, I still expect him to be one player that comes to Chelsea. Now, this just broke as well very quickly. Apparently, Barcelona, and this doesn't surprise me, Barcelona sees signings of Chelsea's defender Aspie and Marcos Alonso being complicated. And that comes from at goal as well. El Goal, that's so the goal as well. So obviously Spanish media firm over there. I mean, I just thought Marcos Alonso was done, players. Like the fact that Barcelona are struggling to register players at the moment anyway, could it be a case that we
I
end up
can't
having
watch him
both
for
of these
another
players?
season. I can't watch Alonso for another season. Please, God, please save me. Oh, so I
I'm
can't.
gonna
I can't
cry.
with this guy. He
I'm gonna
he needs to
cry.
go, bro. Aspi needs to go as well. But Aspi, I mean, one more season at the very, 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 very maximum for me because he's seriously declining. But ideally, both of these guys need to go 100%. I'd like that Jonathan Klaus to be fair. I think he's quite an interesting player. But again, with that one's a bit weird as well because he's a wing back, so that would mean probably staying to the back three, or at least maybe it's
We
just a
are.
maybe that's just a versatile option when we use a four. Maybe obviously Reece plays and he don't play. I don't know. Like, yeah, mm.
Uh, I'm like you. I can't watch Alonso for another season, man. I can't. I
Mate, he
can't.
always survives.
I
I'm
can't.
convinced he's
I
going to
can't.
retire here. This guy is
I
just,
can't.
he's immortal.
He's literally immortal. He's like a cockroach. That's what he reminds me of. Like he's there and then he disappears, and he's there and he disappears.
I'm convinced whenever he goes to someone, he's failing his medical on purpose and just comes back to Chelsea. It's like, I'm not leaving.
Yeah, literally.
Fuck
I hate
hell.
when you're leaving.
Yeah.
I don't know where these all come from. Sky Italia have reported that apparently Inter Milan have rejected a request from Chelsea to have an option to sign Primavera midfielder Cesare. Don't know who that is.
Some
Cesare.
young talent in the field.
Yeah, anyway, so I ain't gonna bother with that one. But yeah, look, Alonso has to go. I don't care what we have to do to get him gone. I cannot watch another year of him. I can't. I physically can't do it. Aspilicueta, even though Ben Jacobs said today again that Aspilicueta could potentially go, it still looks like he's probably going to leave Chelsea, is what he said today, from what he's heard. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. There's just so much that hasn't happened, Pies, and that's what scares me at the moment. It's like things are not happening. It's just, I don't know. It's
It
a
will.
weird,
It
it's a
will.
weird window at
It'll
the
pick
moment
up.
where
It'll pick up soon. Trust
it's
me.
like we don't know what's going on with Dembele. We don't know if it looks like we're going to get Sterling. What's going on with Kunde? Is Chelsea going to put a bid in for Delit or not? Is Alonso going to go or is he going to return? Is Aspie going to stay or is he going to go? Is Kante and Jorginho, who we've not even got to yet, are they going to renew? Are Chelsea going to give them extensions? Are they going to stay or are they planning to go somewhere? Like, do you see what I mean? It's just so much to do on top
So
of that.
much to sort out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've got so much
Loney's
to go through.
Loney's futures as well. But I think most
Mm.
of those will be decided in pre-season. But then again, I said earlier, just watch out. Just watch out. If West Ham or someone put 30 million down for Broya, I'm not saying anything. Just watch out because there's a very big possibility Chelsea just go, yep, I'll have that money. But again, it's up to Tuchel. Like Marina loved cashing in on these guys, so let's see what happens.
I don't think Tuchel will allow him to go until he's had a pre-season with him. I don't feel personally. I think he'll bring him in. He'll see how he is, and then he'll decide whether he's going to keep him in the team. Or if he doesn't, then that might be then the case where you might trigger him to leave. But at that point, we'd have to see where we're at, who we brought in, what we've done, who's come, who stayed. Like that's what I'm saying. I'm expecting a lot to happen in the next 2 weeks. I genuinely am. I wouldn't be shocked if it's like bang this news, bang that news.
Yeah,
He's
I
gone.
think
He's gone.
end of this week, early next week, there'll be a lot of news because I think they all come back next Saturday, which is July the 2nd. I think they all
Yeah.
start filtering in then, so it's next weekend. So there's still quite a bit of time, but things will start obviously heating up now. That I mean, we got told like Fabrizio said Chelsea are gonna have a busy window now. Lukaku's gone, so let's see.
We will definitely see. Guys, still over 204, 250 of you guys here. Big up to every single one of you. But we only have 120 likes. We should be over 150 likes now. Please help us get over that. Big up to Couch in the house as well. One of my boys is in the chat. Big up to him. I was going to actually just quickly talk about Petr Cech. Obviously, the news that we heard today is that he is having words with Todd Boehly about his future. Probably potentially just to find out where he stands. Is he going to continue with the job that he's got? Is he going to be, I don't know, told to piss off like Marina and Bruce Puck? Is he going to be, is he going to get an upgrade? I mean, what do you feel, Pies? Do you think Petr Cech will, do you think Todd Boehly will keep Petr Cech? Or do you feel that it'll be down to Petr Cech whether he wants to stay or go? Because he had a very strong
I think he'll
connection with what we
leave.
understand with Marina. What do you feel?
Hello, can you
Yeah,
hear me?
can you hear me? Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, lagging a bit. I think no, I think Czech will end up leaving. I don't know. When you usually get these articles come out, like he's considering his future, he'll have talks. It usually means they're going to go, in my opinion. But who knows? He might stay. I mean, with the news that come out, him saying Lukaku will have a great season next year. I kind of want him to go, to be honest with you, but I struggle to have a solid opinion on him because we don't really know what he does. I mean, Nazar said he's been heavily involved in like negotiations quite a few times. I know he speaks like 8 different languages, so that's obviously helpful. Maybe he's used as a bit of a mediator or a third party. I'm not sure, but yeah, I can't really give a solid opinion on him, to be honest. Obviously, I love him, from Chelsea legend and stuff, but
Yeah.
from a business perspective, like, what does he offer to Todd Boehly? And that's where I think is gonna, like, does he want to stay? Like,
Mm,
what's his role now? You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's probably why he's going to talk to Todd Boehly, right? Because he probably wants to
yeah,
understand where he stands, what he's going to be required to do. There were talks that he would be more involved with Boehly and Tuchel in this transfer market, in maybe negotiations and talking to players, getting them in. Maybe he gets that. Todd Boehly needs as many people around him as possible. Petr Cech is a legend in his football club. He understands the ins and outs. He understands the structure of how it was before. There's a lot that I feel Todd Boehly could use, and I don't imagine him letting him go as easy as that yet. It's going to be interesting because we're going to jump into that next. Again, I haven't got a massive opinion on Petr when it comes to Petr Cech. I like the idea that he's there because of the connection he has to this football club, but it drags me on to the next thing, which is Todd Boehly and Thomas Tuchel. So London Football come out with this saying Boehly will do everything in his power to deliver Tuchel's targets. Boehly has chosen already to back Tuchel's decisions on
oh,
Lukaku.
not this account, Jesus.
Tuchel now has the power to veto any signings he just doesn't think would suit his style. Excited to see more of this duo. And my question to you on this one, right, away from Boehly, we're gonna quickly concentrate on Thomas Tuchel. Is that if all of this is true and he has been given this power, shall we say, in many ways, not many managers have ever had this power before, where an owner's given them the authority to kind of create a team, a bit like FIFA. He can literally pick the players he wants, providing that they're not overly expensive and whatever. But players that he can bring in, and Boehly's happy to back it, and they will negotiate based on what he wants and whatever. And maybe he gets on the phone, talks to the player that he wants, and tries to get him over. Like, my question to you is this: if that is the case, and we do have a summer window where he is backed, and obviously Lukaku going is a very good example that Boehly done this already, but it looks like he's going to back him in the window as well. Do you feel that there's a lot of pressure on him now to achieve? Because when you look at the fan base itself at the moment and what we currently have here, we are very on edge all the time. We don't allow things to give time. It's always the case of that we have to be doing something now with our fan base. Do you feel that Thomas Tuchel's taken on a lot of responsibility, and is there a risk that it could backfire on him, especially if he has been given all of this power?
Potentially. I think the big thing is the attack, right? The attackers he brings in, if he brings them in, I think fans want to see better football. They want to see less sideways passing because the last few months of the season was very, very stale and quite boring, to be honest with you. But um, yeah, there's always going to be fan pressure and expectations. Being at games, a lot of the fans didn't really like it towards the end of the season, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But again, there has been times when we played three at the back where we've been really, really good attacking. So
Mm.
look, I think that the points gap between us and Man City can't be as big next season. He is going to get backed, I'm pretty sure. So look, he needs to lessen the points gap, but at the same time, we're going to have not entirely, but a pretty much new defence. To be honest with you, like say we signed Klaus, say we signed or two new centre backs. That's three new defenders already.
Yeah.
So it's going to be difficult. And in some ways, it kind of, on the face of it, it looks like a transition season, but the last season was kind of the transition season. It was kind of like that was the time to close the gap. Then this summer, we would then, add on to the squad. But obviously, Lukaku hasn't worked out. Two defenders are left, and we're back in kind of the similar spot. So
Mm.
there's going to be more articles from journalists and more like pressure in general, just because, again, Tuchel would, this will be his second full season. So naturally, there will be more pressure, but at the same time, like I think a lot of it is going to come down to the fans in the stadium because at the end of the day, Todd Boehly, from what I know as well, Daniel Finkelstein, they're very, very fan centered. They're very, very sort of they value the overall fan opinion, and I think as long as the fans inside the stadium back him and we don't miss out on top four, I don't think he'd get sacked or anything like that. I'm
So you
actually
think there'll be a
more
lot more
interested.
patience?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. They will
Yeah.
be from yeah, yeah. Um, Yeah, but there's caveats to that. Obviously, you've got to finish in the
Yeah.
top 4 for starters. Like that.
Mm.
That's not. But and you can't go through the whole season. Like we can't draw as many games at home. Like home form was awful last season. That has to improve because the fans want to see good football, but ultimately they want to see results at the end of the day. So I don't think he's in the risk of getting a sack, and unless it all goes horribly wrong. The last thing I was going to say is I'm more interested to see who the new sporting director is and if he is going into next summer, if all goes well, I'm more interested then because historically he hasn't worked very well with certain individuals, and I don't know. Like I hope they don't clash. You know what I mean? Like I hope
Yeah.
whoever comes in is kind of a similar model. They're kind of like basically they do what Boehly does now. Boehly gives the director of football a budget. The director of football goes right. Tuchel, like who do you want? Let's
Yeah.
discuss it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if the director of football comes in and goes, right, Tuchel, look at this player, have a look at this player, look, this is like Tuchel won't like that. I think if he's given this summer a power, he's gonna feel like he's gonna want this same sort of thing next season as well, next summer.
No.
So that's what I'm worried about a little bit.
But to give
But
him
yeah,
this power, well, that's true. Actually, you bring in a new DOF. That DOF is not going to specifically work to what Tuchel wants all the time. This might be a one-off. In fact, of Boehly saying, "Look, let's try and accumulate. Let's try and cover as many areas as possible on the players that you want. Strengthen the squad as much as we can, and then what we will do is obviously we'll have to look for bring in a director of football, whoever that will be. We'll have to wait and see. But bringing in that director of football doesn't specifically mean that they're going to have to um, work to the level of what Thomas Tuchel wants, like he has this season. I don't think that will happen. I think you'll see, like you said, more of a structural transfer window. I think there will be a budget, but you know they will have their own ideas. These DOFs of certain individuals that they feel that we should go for based on merit of pricing and wages and things like
that's
that. And it
true.
might
I
not.
just that's true. I
Yeah.
just don't want them to force it on Tuchel. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, because
Yeah.
if Tuchel then gets unhappy and then the fan base is like, what the fuck? Like, why what's if the fan base then gets unsettled, it's like that's when then Boehly has to step in. That's why I think the new director of football, the new sporting director is oh my god, I can't tell you how big of an appointment it is. They have to get it right. They have to get it spot on because
I
we
yeah.
like they ain't leaving, for a while. Like this is kind of it's a massive decision, but we'll think about that next
It's
summer.
yeah. Obviously it
Well,
will.
next
Yeah.
January probably. Actually,
Yeah,
they'll
yeah,
probably be in
yeah,
for January.
yeah. That I feel once this window's out the way, then they'll start looking for that, or maybe they'll have their ideas before that. But they've got a lot to do in this window between the two of them, and whether they get it done to the level that's required, to the required, or what they have planned out. I hope they do. Um, I keep stressing that I hope they have a smart window. I think it's important that we get the right players in, for the right. We're bringing the right players for not just only like the marquee players that make the 11 better, but also strengthens the squad and actually strengthens the depth of the squad because that is something we need. And I just think there's a lot on their hands to do without having Marina there. I know she's in the background, they're saying, and she can be involved if required. Same with it with Bruce Buck with his role as well. Um, I just feel that from a fan's perspective, and I'm taking it away from looking at it from a fan's perspective, the way that they're going to look at Thomas Tuchel moving forward now is he has to get it right. We have to be narrowing the gap to Man City. We have to be challenging for titles. Let me tell you guys something now. If we go and buy 4, 5, 6 players that are good quality, do not expect us to go and challenge for a Premier League next season. Todd Boehly may be strengthening us to do that. But I don't feel that the targets for next year from Boehly to Tuchel will be to go and win a Premier League straight away. Obviously, it'd be heavily dependent on seeing who we bring in. If we have a crazy window and we bring in like 7 players of quality, and then the pressure's there that we've got to compete, fine. But it's a lot, and people don't realise that the gelling phase, the pre-season phase, something that we've stressed about them having a pre-season, which they may not have, depending on how quick we are in the window on getting players over. There's a lot of things that Thomas Tuchel, even though he's got this power and it's great power, don't get me wrong, will have to think about and work on, and it makes it easier if he gets the player that he wants because he understands their abilities, he knows how to play them, he knows where they'll thrive from, he'll work on their weaknesses. It will allow him to move quicker in the right direction. But we've got to take this thing out of our head that we had under the Roman era, where we buy most, the biggest players out there who are doing the best out there, that are this, that, and the other, and think that if we put him in our team, we're automatically going to win the league. We did it with Lukaku last season. I didn't personally, but I know a lot of fans did. Thought we would be going out to win, and we need to take that mindset out. Just give these boys time. Todd Boehly, for instance, and we're going to talk about him quickly now as well, which is the next thing. He's got a huge job in his hands. A lot of people feel that it's mad. He's let Marina go and he's taken on the negotiation himself. What experience does he have to be doing something like that? You may be right to be saying that, but I don't feel Todd Boehly's that character to throw himself in the heat if he's not fully confident in what he's doing. This is a businessman. This is a guy that's been at the Dodgers, and if you read the article about where they were when he took it over and where he brought them to this point, it was a lot. It was hard work what he did, and and to be able to achieve the best baseball team out there, I can't remember the name of them, so I don't watch baseball, but to beat their trophy record and be the most successful, whatever out there, like he knows what he's doing. Do you know what I mean? And that took a bit of time to get it to that point. So yes, he has that sporting background. Yes, it's not football, but he's going to need to be given time. There is a slight worry that he may misjudge certain scenarios, i.e., he just spends too much on a player he shouldn't do. Could happen. We'll wait to see. Or, he doesn't get a player like Jules Koundé because he doesn't want to pay 10 million more, even though it's so important that we need to get that place. These are things we need to understand and see. And that's why I said it's about having a smart window. But players, in regards to Todd Boehly, he obviously he's got rid of Bruce Buck. He's made him a senior advisor. He's took his chairman role, which is something that I think Matt Law and a lot of the tier ones have said was going to happen anyway. Ben Jacobs said it as well. But he's now also decided to lay off Marina as well. But it seems like Marina kind of herself wanted to move away from it all, to be honest. Well, not from what I read. It wasn't more Boehly saying you got to go. It's more Marina just deciding, well, Buck's, if Buck's going, then I'm going to sort of do the same sort of thing. How do you feel about Todd Boehly and everything and all his actions at the moment and where he's found himself at this point? Do you feel he's just took on too much responsibility at such a short space of time, especially with
We'll
so
see.
much that needs to happen, Todd Boehly?
We'll see. The proof will be in this window.
Yeah.
Look, I was a bit sort of nervous about him taking on the negotiation role. I was like, well, this is his first, football venture. He's thrown himself in there, but at the same time, I rate it because clearly he's confident in his ability to negotiate. Obviously, he's going to be a very good, person with numbers and figures and stuff like that. So, look, football deals are different to other deals, but it's still business deals at the end of the day. You still phone them up and you still, what do you want for this player? This is what we're willing to offer. This, the contract length, the wages. He's going to know all that sort of side, and I'm sure he's got people like Petr Cech as well helping him. Marina as well, staying in an advisory role. So who knows? She could still be around Cobham helping out. She's just not officially a director anymore. So look, who knows what's going on behind the scenes? I'm pretty sure Todd's a smart man, and he's going to have people helping him out and advising him. And of course, you got Tuchel to phone players up as well. But yeah, I think I think he's done a good start. I mean, he hasn't increased the season ticket prices. Um,
You got rid of
he
Lukaku.
yeah, he's got rid of Lukaku in like a few days, bro. I thought this
Short
would be
base,
dragging
yeah,
on.
that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
it's good. You've
Yeah.
got a deal done, and Marina would have probably still been haggling about for a huge fee, or if not, she would have wanted to keep him. So he's changed the board up so far. The sponsorship issues, that they've seemed to be resolved. So he's had a good start, but at the end of the day, like it's early days. I always said I expect nothing less than a good start from a new owner in your first summer. It has to be good, otherwise you really are screwed if you don't see good signs in the first window. So
Yeah.
let's see what happens in terms of incomings and how
I,
quickly, like how quickly can we move for the the likes of Sterling and the likes of other players. Kunde especially is one I'm really interested in.
Why do we care if Mount's a waste man? I don't get this. But we even spoke about Mason Mount, Kai. I don't know. Piers, Mount is a waste man, just to let you know, mate. I don't know why you wanted to know that, but there you go. He's a waste man. Big up to Seppers in the house as well. Guys, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe. What are your thoughts in the chat, people? Let us know. Still over 250 of you guys here. Big up to every single one of you guys. Are you confident that Thomas Tuchel and Todd Boehly can have a good summer? Are you worried? Let us know in the chat as well. Just let him know, man. That's it. So, I've let him know. I've let him know. No Blakely on today, mate. I did have it on earlier, but it's too hot to wear any t-shirts at the moment, especially where we are, mate. It's baking. Yeah, look, I feel Todd Boehly's got a lot on his hands, and he hasn't got a lot of time as well. You know, in terms of this window, he hasn't got a lot of time to get things done as well. I always keep saying with Todd Boehly though that I do feel in the short term he will back Thomas Tuchel, and Thomas Tuchel will get. You'll see that, and that's important from a Chelsea's perspective or a fan base perspective to see that he's being backed. Don't get me wrong, but in terms of seeing his overall ideas, you're not going to see that for a little while. And this is why I keep saying to guys, look, he's going to be here for 10 years. You know, the long-term project is key when it comes to Todd Boehly and Clear Lake Consortium. You know, what they do now is very is
I
a
was,
is a good. Go on.
I was just going to say, an exclusives come out from Sammy Mockbell. Chelsea and Manchester United are chasing Michael Edwards. It's understood Todd Boehly has explored the possibility already of appointing Edwards to a senior recruitment position. Very, very interesting. That's a tier 1 reporter right there. So I don't want to get too gassed, but yeah,
Where is that?
Edwards would be fantastic. It's on Mail Sport, at Mail Sport. 2 very good reporters have just come out with that.
Surprise! Something else has come out from Matt Law and Declan Rice. It wouldn't surprise me if later on in the transfer window that starts to gather some pace on Declan Rice. Is what Matt Law's saying. It's a bit interesting, isn't it? Yes,
I
I've
think
got that.
he's just getting paid, to be honest. But
Both with right here, yeah. So, all right, coming back to that in a sec. Actually, we're done with that anyway. To be honest, let's go. Let's go on to what Piers was saying. Exclusive: Man United and Chelsea both want ex-Liverpool transfer guru Michael Edwards, who bought Van Dijk, Salah, and Mane to Anfield. Obviously, Sammy Mockbell has come out with the whether I can read it or not. Oh, I can actually. We can actually read it, Piers. We can actually read it. Let's quickly fly through this from the Daily Mail as well. Manchester United and Chelsea are interested in the guru Michael Edwards as the Premier League giants look to strengthen their recruitment. United are in the midst of revamping their recruitment setup which is being led by John Murtock, which we know about. What's he saying here? Whether Edwards is open to join United, given his ties to arch rivals Liverpool, remains to be seen. That's true. I don't want to know about Man United. I do not care about Man United. Why are we talking about Man United? I do not care. Anything that says about Chelsea? Talking about Liverpool now. It is understood that Chelsea's new owners, Todd Boehly and Clear Lake Capital, have explored the possibility of appointing Edwards to a senior recruitment position after confirming the departure of long-serving director Marina, who controls the club transfer negotiations. Likewise, Sportmail has learned that Edwards has attracted interest from Ajax earlier this year following the departure of Mark Overmars. However, Edwards is understood to be hesitant about making such a swift return to football after leaving Liverpool this summer, initially with a view to taking a break from the game. It remains to see whether Chelsea revive their interest given Edwards' original apprehension. In addition to Edwards, Chelsea have also been linked to, as we already know, Andrea Berta, whilst former Barcelona technical secretary Ramon Plains, Monaco transfer chief Paul Mitchell, Steve Hitchen may also emerge as early candidates. Interesting. Grove Sky is the latest high profile, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we know all that. Yeah. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on this? What are your quick, short words on this, Piers? Is there anyone that you specifically would like to see come in as the new director of football? Oh, it is him, yeah? Is this who you want as well?
Because the reason why I say is because look what he did at Liverpool with like a lesser budget as well. Like this guy, not only does he get top prices, he doesn't mess about in negotiations. The thing for me is like, yeah, he's got some really good eye for talent. He gets really good deals, and if we are on like a lesser budget, 100%, he's the man to go for.
Fair enough. Yeah, I haven't got much fault when it comes to this, to be honest. I know that he's obviously from his track record, he's done some good work in the Premier League under Liverpool as well, which makes sense. But we'll have to see what happens, man. It's going to be interesting. Obviously, Andrea Berta's another one that's been linked to Chelsea. He's got a good track record, but he's also got some stinkers on there. To be fair, I read the list that he brought across for Atletico since his time there as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens at a later stage, guys. I think we're pretty much done, Pies, for today. There's not much else to really say, to be honest. We spoke a bit about Todd Boehly and Thomas Tuchel as well. Koundé, Dembele, Lukaku leaving. Yeah, I think we're pretty much done. I'm just waiting. Someone keeps sending me stuff as well. I don't think there was anything else in there. Did you talk about Rice? No, I saw a comment from Matt Law about Rice, basically saying that it may pick up speed later on. I don't know why he said that. Why? Maybe because I don't know. Why would we even attain 100+ million for Declan Rice? That don't make no sense to me. I can't even put it in my head. Probably. Great job, guys. Big up, Jim. Big up to you, bro. Does anyone think Chelsea's track record in the window is a factor? We can't get the same kind of deals as Liverpool. You think, Pies? It's got a good point there, isn't it? To be fair. Does anyone think Chelsea's track record in the window is a factor? So basically, the way that Chelsea have operated in the past, do you think that might scare a lot of the directors of football coming to Chelsea because of the way we operate?
No, because we've got a completely new owner now, so it's completely different. Maybe if Roman Abramovich tried to employ someone like that, then yeah, but no, not with a new owner. It's going to be a complete different board structure. So no, I think it's a fresh start.
Any final words, mate, that you would like to talk about? I mean, I'm waiting to actually do a stream with you where we can start talking about players that have come to the football club. We seem to be talking about ifs and buts at the moment, but that's all we're being fed, isn't it? To be fair. But any final thoughts?
Yeah, not really. I just hope that this is a successful window and Todd Boehly um, can get the deals done fast. Because if it's anything like Lukaku to go by, we're in for a great window. It's just I'm very interested to see what happens with Koundé, to be honest, because I know Monchi is very, very hard to negotiate with. So let's see if Todd can get that one over the line pretty fast. And I think this window is going to give us a good indication of his plans for Chelsea as well.
I've wanted Koundé for so long, and you know this anyway. I would be devastated if we don't get Jules Koundé. Then I would expect a De Ligt. I would expect a Koulibaly. I'd expect I'm talking about top class defenders coming in. I don't want Nathan Ake knocking on our door after not getting Jules Koundé, and I don't want blimmin' some of the other ones that we read out, Premier League links. No, I need quality. We need quality. Yeah, let's be serious moving forward. But guys, make sure you smash the like button. I hope you enjoyed this show today as well. I may be back tomorrow later on. Dependent on news, really dependent on news. Usually I do a stream around 1 p.m. Maybe again, like I said, it depends. We'll see what happens. Friday, I'm not around whatsoever. I won't be around Friday. So the next you might hear from me is maybe on a Saturday, but hoping at that point we'll have some actual breaking news that we'll be able to discuss and look forward to as well. Call me for a collab, Kai, man. You'll crack me up. Big up to Kai and House. Big up to every single one of you guys. We had over 250 of you in the chat today. That was pretty good, to be fair. Take care of yourself, guys. Up the Chelsea. And hopefully we'll have some news on players wearing the Chelsea shirt very, very soon. Peace out.